Speaker, the question number 1, will the Minister describe the process being used to select the contractor to upgrade the vacuum distillation unit at PETROJAM? Unsolicited proposals were received by PETROJAM Limited in the 2014-2015 financial year from 2 Chinese firms. A technical team with members from both PDVSA representing the Venezuelan partners and PETROJAM PCJ reviewed these proposals and recommended the Chinese firm Sino-Hydro as the contractor to undertake the first phase of the refinery upgrade project, which is the build-out of the vacuum distillation unit. Mr. Speaker, in February 2017, Cabinet approved a joint PDVSA Government of Jamaica task force to begin negotiations with Sino-Hydro to execute the engineering, procurement, and construction services for the RUP-VDU project. Mr. Speaker, as at June 2018, negotiations are still underway. No agreement has yet been signed, and no money has been spent with Sino-Hydro to undertake any work relating to the upgrade of the VDU at PETROJAM. Mr. Speaker, I must also add my extreme disappointment in the member from Central Manchester and by extension the opposition for their careless and unsubstantiated utterances in the public domain, which may have placed the delicate negotiations, this refinery upgrade project, and the future of the country's energy security at risk, all in the name of political one-upmanship and expedience. Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow narrow-minded...
Order, please. Order.
Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow narrow-minded, personal anti-Chinese sentiments to undermine the development of the country. Question number 2, Mr. Speaker. Will the Minister state the estimates of costs to upgrade the vacuum distillation unit at PETROJAM as provided by the U.S. engineering firm? Mr. Speaker, the preliminary estimate submitted on April 5th, 2018 by the U.S. engineering firm BETROJAM, based on U.S. standards, was US $87.6 million plus or minus 30% estimate accuracy, which means, Mr. Speaker, that the estimate could vary anywhere from US $61.32 million to US $114 million, depending on a number of factors. Mr. Speaker, the following 2 estimates were received from Sino-Hydro to upgrade or to build out the VDU, which is the first phase of the RUP. One estimate, Mr. Speaker, using Chinese standards, which was approximately $91.3 million US, was received in August of 2017. An estimate, Mr. Speaker, using Western, which is the US standards, which was approximately US $119 million, was received in March of 2018. Mr. Speaker, it must be noted that the estimate from the US engineering firm is still in the process of being reviewed and validated by the task force to ensure that all factors pertinent to this estimate have been considered and included. Mr. Speaker, I am advised that to date, the review of the U.S. engineering firm's estimate unearthed some deficiencies which have been acknowledged by the firm, and the task force is now awaiting an updated estimate from the U.S. engineering firm in order to complete validation. Mr. Speaker, let me reiterate that no agreement has yet been signed and no money has been spent with Sino-Hydro to undertake any work relating to the upgrade of the VDU. With that, Mr. Speaker.
Order, please.
With that said, Mr. Speaker, I found it surprising and totally disingenuous, the utterances by the member from Central Manchester and a familiar senator, Mr. Speaker, on public platforms around billions of dollars being stolen from the entity, given these facts. Mr. Speaker, the next question. Will the minister list the management and technical personnel that have left PETROJAM since March 2016? Mr. Speaker, between March 2016 and June 2018, staff at PETROJAM left for a variety of reasons which I've outlined below. Positions include management level staff, administrative staff, technical staff, engineering staff, and clerical staff. Mr. Speaker, the breakdown is as follows. In 2016, 20 staff left. 6 migrated, 10 resigned for better job opportunities, 1 medical redundancy, 1 returned to school, 1 was not confirmed in the post, and 1 dismissal. 2017, Mr. Speaker, 14 staff left. 7
Order,
migrated,
please. Order. Let the minister
2
make his
retired,
presentation.
3 resigned for better job opportunities, 1 returned to school, 1 resigned due to job dissatisfaction. In 2018, Mr. Speaker, 8 staff left. 1 retired, 6 resigned. 2 out of the 6, Mr. Speaker, that resigned did so for better job opportunities, and 1 was dismissed. Next question, Mr. Speaker. Will the minister state the compensation packages for the current HR manager and the previous HR manager and justify the difference in terms of their competence and experience in industrial relations and personnel matters? The compensation packages, Mr. Speaker, for the previous and current HR managers are as follows. The previous HR manager, as at December 2016, received $9,522,499.80. The current HR manager, Mr. Speaker, receives $12,612,323.16. Mr. Speaker, both compensation packages are inclusive of basic pay, duty allowance, discomfort allowance, ER savings, and traveling. Mr. Speaker, the question asks for justification of the level of remuneration based on competence and experience in industrial relations. Mr. Speaker, the difference cannot be measured only on those 2 parameters. I'm advised, Mr. Speaker, that justification of the post and the commensurate salaries based on how qualifications, experience, and competencies are aligned with the strategic direction of PETROJAM. Mr. Speaker, in keeping with new strategic imperatives of the entity, it was determined that a HR manager with a broad skill set was needed. These skills include, but are not limited to, Mr. Speaker, knowledge, experience, and certification in global talent management and competence modeling framework, knowledge and experience in current HR technology and information systems, knowledge, training, and certification in Lean Six Sigma methodologies to support process improvements across respective business units, broad knowledge of strategies to improve and/or exceed customer experience and support brand strategies, expertise with the implementation and alignment of learning and development strategies to support and achieve key performance indicators, and keen understanding of HR strategic business strategies. Such requirements, Mr. Speaker, as I have been advised, are crucial prerequisites of strategic HR management in both private and public sector companies, but were previously lacking, Mr. Speaker, at PETROJAM. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, having identified the right talent for the HR manager role, which included these competencies and skills, PETROJAM management negotiated the compensation package with the incumbent in keeping with the stipulated salary range parameters as established and approved by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Mr. Speaker, next question, will the Minister list all the material corporate donations made by PETROJAM in 2017, identify the organizations that received the contributions, and in the case of construction projects, the contractors who executed the projects? Mr. Speaker, donations to institutions by PETROJAM in the 2017-2018 financial year, and I provided a list, Mr. Speaker, but just to list a few: Olmsted Primary School, Sydenham Community Center, the Scientific Research Council, the Camperdown High School Sports Program, sponsorship of the National Science and Technology Fair, the Diabetes Conference, the J-Tray International Invitation, SDC Netball Competition, Jamaica Swim Team Championship, Monroe College Anniversary Program, SDC Back to School Program, Western Health Authority, Western Regional Health Authority, St. Mary Technical High School Chemistry Lab, the Anota Bay Hospital in Northeast Regional, Walker's Place of Safety, the rebuilding of, I believe, a block there, the University of the West Indies Disability Studies, YMCA Youth Development Program, the PCJ Energy in School Program, Blue Power Baptist Church, Jamaica Golf Association, Reggae Boys, Jamaica sponsorship of the Jamaica Exporters Association, SOS Children's Village, the National Integrity Action, Lay Magistrate Award Banquet, Slagoville School Playing Field, Silo Primary Summer Program, Jamaica Rugby Team, rebuilding efforts at Westwood. Just to name a few, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am advised that PETROJAM's existing donation policy, which was created in 2002 under the then administration, does not outline or require that any information relating to the method of donation expenditure be submitted. And that is a deficiency that we must address. And the Prime Minister, as a matter of fact, the Cabinet addressed that matter yesterday. As such, Mr. Speaker, information on contractors of construction projects is not always available in all cases.
Order, please. I wish to hear the Minister.
In fact, Mr. Speaker, there is a new policy in place as relates to donation, not only at PETROJAM, but at all public bodies. Mr. Speaker, information that have been provided with indicates that Alcoa Construction was to have been engaged for the construction works at Camperdown High School in the constituency of the member from East Kingston and Port Royal, while both Olmsted Primary and Sydenham Association were responsible for engaging contractors of works for their respective projects. To date, Mr. Speaker, only construction projects associated with Olmsted Primary and the Sydenham Association are complete, while works at Camperdown have not yet started. Mr. Speaker, the next question: will the Minister state the amount of funds advanced to the chairman of PETROJAM for a trip to London earlier this year? Were the funds reimbursed after the chairman failed to attend the meetings he was sent to London to attend? If yes, what was the date of reimbursement? Mr. Speaker, there were no funds advanced at any time to the chairman of PETROJAM for the trip in question to London earlier this year. Mr. Speaker, I am advised that the then chairman of PETROJAM purchased his air travel ticket himself with his own funds. Due to a massive winter storm in the UK at the time, airports were closed and the chairman was not able to make the trip. The chairman was reimbursed the amount of his travel purchased by PETROJAM. Reimbursement was made on or around March 2nd, 2018. Mr. Speaker, I am also informed that after the reimbursement of funds to the chairman, a claim was made to the travel service airline through which the chairman's ticket was bought. These travel funds were recovered and remitted to PETROJAM by the chairman. Mr. Speaker, this claim recovery process took approximately 30 days. Of note, Mr. Speaker, permission for travel by any board chairman on any company business is to be sought from the minister and notification provided by the ministry or the cabinet secretary. In this case, Mr. Speaker, no permission was sought, and as such, the minister and the ministry was unaware of these travel arrangements. Unaware. Next question, Mr. Speaker. Will the minister state whether PETROJAM has a retainer with an entertainment company? If so, what is the value of the retainer? Mr. Speaker, PETROJAM had a contract with PR production and marketing firm Main Event. The value of the retainer was $13.9 million. The contract period was from June 22, 2017 to June 21, 2018. Services that were provided, Mr. Speaker, to PETROJAM included acting on behalf of PETROJAM as a liaison with media representatives and media houses, preparing and placement of articles, press releases, and broadcasts in various publications and other forms of media pursuant to the contract, strengthening, Mr. Speaker, PETROJAM's brand and boosting public image, supporting PETROJAM's campaign and lobbying media coverage, communicating information utilizing a mix of digital, electronic, and print media to deflect, minimize negativity, capturing professional photographs and video footage, increasing benefits through public relations for PETROJAM by increasing publicity in all forms to include securing placement of articles, features, and caption photographs, arranging newspaper features and profiles on the company or individuals within the company, and arranging radio interviews. Next question, Mr. Speaker. Will the minister state whether there is a consultant who advises the general manager of PETROJAM? If yes, please state the scope of responsibilities and the compensation package for this consultant. Answer. No consultant was hired to advise the general manager of PETROJAM.